Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
We are going to start with the report. How do you go and navigate to report? It's very simple. Just click on here and this is the page for your reports. In this session, you will just understand what are the features that a report can capture and how you can build a simple report and then the additional functionalities of each. It is thoroughly going to be a practical session more on the reporting part because there is not much to be explained. It is much to be learned that how things are built in the report. Just to give you overview, it is very simple to use. It is very simple to create. It is just a drag and drop. Whatever things you require in the columns, you just drag and drop it. And whatever things you require in the rows, you just drag and drop it. Simply everything is done in the backend before the report, which is your modeling elements. And after that it is just a drag and drop thing. It's very easy and every end user can build this. Let's try to understand how the report screen looks like. When you click on the reports, you will be by default in the overview section where the favorites tab is coming. If you mark any kind of reports, they will be reflecting here. Mostly all the reports that are shared with users. We are this particular user. Suppose you are creating some report and you have not shared it with anyone else. It is only going to reflect in the personal folder. At the moment, there are no personal reports created by this user ID. As and when you start creating or start editing any report, it is going to reflect here. Once you share this particular report with another user, suppose there is another ID in the organization and you have given the access to that report to that person. Then for such case it is reflecting in the shared folder. Basically, this is nothing but the grouping thing where you can see what are the reports that are built by you. What are the reports that are shared by the other users and the favorites and basically the reusable. There are certain sections in the report. These are the reports where you can see this is a folder symbol. You can have separate folders created for separate type of reports. If you want any kind of financial reports, you can create a separate folder called financial reports. If you want a separate folder for expenses, only you can create the folder for expenses similarly and build the models inside there. How to build this? It's basically you have to click on the Add New option. Once you try to click on Add New, you will see there are certain different types of reports that the Adaptive is giving you. Today we are going to focus on the first one. At the moment, this is the most frequently used report in our tool. It's like a metrics report and we have the data similar, just like we have in the sheet. I will just open one sheet for you. Let's say I'm opening. At the moment in the sheet, what do you see? You see levels on this side. You see accounts on this side. You see time on this side and you see the data. Suppose I only want. Let me just view this by account. I want account on this side. The purpose of report is, it's very simple. Basically, you know there are certain requirements that are coming that we don't want the access to be given for the sheets to all the users. This is a PL sheet, and the PL sheet should not be reflecting to all the users. There could be certain criteria. I'm just giving an example. This can be any sheet. That sheet access is not given to them. Instead of giving the access to the sheet for such users, you can give it as in the report format. Basically, you can just say that only selected accounts. At the moment, if there are 158 accounts, only 10 accounts you can select on the report and just give the data for that. At the moment, here in the sheet, you can see 158 accounts if you just scroll deep and deep. There are a lot of accounts, right? But in the same case, in the reports, you can control that, how many accounts you want to show, how many levels you want to show. It gives you an additional filter, basically to crop the number of accounts in the report. For example, you are creating a report for P&L statement for another user apart from us. But we as a user have the entire access to the P&L statement. But then they have only access for on-bus revenue, for example. You create a report for them for this particular account, and they can only see this data in a report format, not in the sheet format. That is the purpose of creating a report. Now, if you look at the P&L statement, what have you dropped down or dropped in this row section? The answer is accounts. You want accounts here on the rows. What do you want in the columns? You want the time frame in the columns. And then the levels is there because you want the data for all combinations, for all the levels. It is not only for Mumbai level, or it is not only for New York level. It is for everything, right? In such cases, you want to drag and drop the levels also. We will see the same thing, how we can build it. Let's go to your report section. Now you can create a folder just like you. I will just create your folder. I will just say practice. You can see a practice folder will be created. And inside practice, you can then create your new models or reports. You can say, here you can say it's creating a new report. You have to click on Add New always. Matrix is the first one which we are learning today. This is the most frequently used report. And if there is any kind of requirement that the user needs to do analysis on, this is where it is supported. Because it is like a web report basically. It is on the same tool. It is not downloading anything in an Excel file or anything like that. It is basically giving the same data in the system through a different platform. Basically, at the moment, this is the matrix report builder. You can see that. You can see all the elements that you can drag and drop here. It's written drag and drag to add rows, drag to add columns. Basically, once you have done creation of everything, every element here, you can just then drag and drop. If you want accounts here, you simply go in accounts. You see which accounts you want. If you want any kind of accounts, you just drag and drop here. Same goes with time. If you want time here, you go in time and you drag and drop the time here. There are filters and parameters option also, which we will see in detail. And then this is the save option. This is the run option. Basically, we will see how this is operating. Now I'm just trying to create a simple report. Let's say I think we build one sheet. Let's just open it. We built this other expenses model thing. I think it's the data is not here. I think we loaded the data. Let me see in any other sheet. This is the sheet that we worked last time, where we created the operating expenses. Selling cost. We have several accounts. General cost. We have this accounts. Administrative costs. We have this. Now I want to create one report to another user. And I just want to give them the access to 3 accounts from selling costs, 1 account from general and 1 from this. Only 5 accounts. Any 5 accounts. I want to give them the access. I don't want them to see the other accounts. I want only the 5 accounts to be shown in the report. How you can build this report, we are going to understand. Looking at the screen, I want 5 accounts on the left-hand side. I want the January, Feb and March columns on the column side. And then it should be for all the levels. This is the first report which we are trying to build. Now here, what do we add? We add the 5 accounts one by one. I will go in accounts first. This is nothing but your custom accounts. And then here you can see that you have built your other operating expenses model. And then I will expand everything. And then just simply drag and drop only 5 accounts out of this. Suppose I want travel expenses. I dragged and dropped the accounts here. Now I want the distribution. I will drag and drop here and just keep it below this. It's organized in such a way that it is one below the other. Marketing costs. You can see something when you drag and drop a red cross is coming. That means that you cannot drag and drop there. You will have to drag and drop in the blue section that is coming. Blue section is nothing but the segment. We will understand the elements part also. But now let's simply build one simple report. I want utilities. And from this I want other professional. I'm only building a report for 6 accounts to another user. Now, what do we want in the columns? We want the time. We want only 3 months. Let's say I'm going to drag and drop. Again in the blue section, I will drag and drop. It's very simple. Like any end user who has just gone through the adaptive ones, they can also build the report. It is very simple to use. Now you tell me, looking at this sheet, you have added the accounts. You have added the time. Now what is missing? According to you, the version is missing. And what is missing on the screen? I can see accounts. I can see time. I can see the version and I can see the level. These 2 things are missing. And that needs to be addressed in the report also. Because if you don't mention the version, then it will not understand to the report that from which version you need this. What data exactly needs to be populated in the report. That's why it is very important to mention the version also. Once you click on back to elements on the top of this, you can just add the version here that this is from the test version. Basically, I might have selected version here. And the elements and on the just above time, I've added this. Now from this accounts, this columns, you should take the data from your versions only. Same goes with double level structure. I will click on levels and I will add all the levels from above all the accounts. I will just drag and drop this and do this. Now what I will do, I will just do properties. I will explain what is this properties thing. Let me just check what is happening in the hierarchy. Manage, hierarchy is also there. It's custom. It was expanded. I will explain this later. Now we have the 4 elements in the builder. Let's just save this. First, you need to save this report whenever you run it. By default, you can see it is creating as an HTML report. Basically, when you run it anew, a new window opens up automatically and that report is run. You will just see this is a practice report. This is created in the personal folder. You can also create. Let's create this as a shared report and inside shared reports. I've created a new folder. I cannot see what. What was the name of our folder? Practice, right. Let's see practice. I've saved it. Now I will run as a HTML in a new window. You will see this is the same tenant, but a new window. It is going to run this report in the HTML format. Now you can see if you compare this sheet and this sheet. Thus, users were able to see all the accounts and this data and certain non-data on the which are the cells which are blank, basically from the other ones. They can get a top view basically for all the accounts. But if you want to restrict, you can see the users by for some accounts only. The data expense for January was 35,000 in this particular version for operations level. Now you can see that if you just expand this, what happens? You will see one below the other. The thing is popping up. At the moment CF demo, this is the total. And this is the total operations level. Basically, operations is your parent level inside parent. The data is coming from this parent, right? If you expand this also now it will give you the further bifurcation that the data is coming from your USA level. If you expand the USA also, it will give you this data is coming from your Philadelphia region. If you expand the Philadelphia, you will get the store-wise data that this particular data is coming from your store. And now this is not bold. Now this means that this is the lowest level of information and the bold thing is your top level data. Suppose there are 10 stores in Philadelphia. See, all the stores will be reflecting here and then the data will be not in bold. And then this will be the summation all the Philadelphia stores. At the moment we have only the data entry for one store. Correct. That's why it's the same, but it will change. The Philadelphia data rollup will change because there are several other stores also. Same goes with your USA rollup data. In USA, there can be separate other cities. Correct. And in separate cities, there will be separate stores. The data will roll up. USA data will also change at the top. Same goes with your CF practice demo, where you have several other countries like India, Australia and UK. All the summation of USA plus India plus Australia will roll up in this CF demo, which is nothing but the total that you see. This is the advantage that in the system directly, you can give this as a small report. And then the user has, the feasibility to expand it by levels, expand it by time, or whatever that gives an additional functionality. Just a simple report we have built. Now we will just see what are the additional features and the functionalities of any report. Now, if I just click on any account, you can see this functionality is coming, which is drill into. Now, drill into is nothing, but you get the bifurcation of the travel expenses by the attributes that you have attached to this particular thing. These are nothing but your attributes, your dimensions, whatever you can call. Basically, if you want this data bifurcated by some kind of thing, you need to capture that data in the system first. Correct. If it is not captured in this system, then the reports will also not be having. For example, if you want to understand the 70,000 in, that are the salaries in this level. You need to understand this by employees, right? You will link. You will have a data based on the employee also. Correct. Similarly in the report, what do you just go? For example, this travel expense, you will just see and do it by employee. Do we have employee areas? You just drill down by employee. If there is some data by employee, then all the employee salary will be reflecting here. Suppose Thomas there, Ron Rennie is there. Ron is there. You know certain names will pop up and the values will flowing at the moment in the sheet. It's a normal account. You haven't captured the level of information that is needed to have this information by employee. And that is the reason why it is all going in this particular dimension, which is called as uncategorized. By default, an adaptive and uncategorized dimension is created for every dimension. This is a value, basically employee name uncategorized. This is a value of employee name as a dimension. Since this in the sheet, you don't have that level of information captured by default. Adaptive is going to translate it in this particular dimension value, which is uncategorized, because adaptive needs certain kind of thing that can hold the data. And this is where it is created by default automatically in the system. And all the data is going in the uncategorized thing. Suppose in this sheet you have the category mentioned that for Renee the salary is this, for Thomas the salary is this. Then it will pop up in the report when you use the drill down option. This is one feature of a drill down, and then you just click on, you just go to back. I think this is the back button, which is yours. Until you come back to the original output of the report. And similarly, if you click again, you will see that there are different kind of things. Suppose you want to understand by color product or by gender. You can do that again. You can do that again. This information you don't have by color product. That's why it has been created by default, uncategorized value in the color product dimension. That means everything is going in that particular dimension. If you want to understand what is the value that is coming by colors, red color, pink color, whatever it is, you need to capture that data somewhere in this, in the model. If it is not captured, then you cannot expect the report to function in that way. You need to do all the analysis in the start, that what are the things the user requires for analysis purpose. If he requires the data for analysis by gender, by color, by employee name, you need to understand that from that sheet. I mean, that sheet should capture that particular data. You know that level of information should be there at the moment. It is not capturing because it is only a top level data, and this is the only account. We will do a similar kind of exercise for any other report also, but now we are just understanding what are the features of that. Same goes with the numbers. If you click on the numbers, you will see what happens. It's loading. It is going you an option which is called as Explore Cell. This Explore Cell option is there in the sheets also. It's a different window. If you select here and do Explore Cell, I just right-clicked on it. And it gives you that from where this particular information is coming. It's basically like a drill down. If you see this particular page and this page, it is exactly the same. From reports also, you get the Explore Cell functionality, and from Sheets, also you get the Explore Cell functionality. We'll just close this again. Go to Reports. You are now just understanding how you build a report, how you do analysis, because this is only about practicing. This is only about how you are going to build the reports. Once you are done with the model management thing, this is just a 10% of any implementation work because maximum things you have completed. Now you just have to build reports. It's just a drag and drop thing. Once I click on this, you will get the Explore cell and then you can just click, and then go down to the lowest level. At the moment, this is not the lowest level. You can see it's rolling up to something, and this is the roll job too. If you go deep, you will keep on going to the lowest level. You can go further in USA also. It's giving you a pop-up to click. Basically, it is a clickable icon here. Philadelphia is a clickable thing. Until it is not clickable, you understand that this is not the lowest level of data. You can see it has disappeared. That means this is the lowest level of data. This is the value. We have we know the account, which is travel expense. We get the code. We get the type. We get what is rolling up to. We get the lowest level, which is your store, and understand rolling up to Philadelphia. We get the lowest month, that this is the January, rolling up to quarter months. This is the exact combination of data for this particular 35,000. That's the understanding, and that's the usage of a Explore Cell function. Whenever you get there are questions from the implementers that I want to know that from 40,000 is the value. From 40,000, what is the contribution from this level? What is the contribution from this product? This is the functionality where you understand that Explore Cell by doing this particular thing. Explore Cell, you get the further bifurcation of that data. This is one of functionality which I wanted to explain, and now I'm just doing a right click on rent. Drill down into, you can drill down this by any dimension and any attribute. It is there. If there is I think we should take a relatable example because at the moment, for this report, we don't have much information captured, and that's why it will flow in uncategorized dimension only. Let's take a relatable example and build a report for that. Now let's do one by one at a time and just increase the level of our reports. We did this cube thing. We don't have data here. I think we did that in my tenant now. I need to upload some data first. And we have it in test version. Test. Let's quickly upload some data here. Because if there is no data, then the reports will not be pulling out anything. I want some data here. Let's import. Plan version. This is the cube practice. And then download template. Actually, I want the accounts. I want the accounts. Data entry is always happening on the input accounts and not on the calculated accounts. I'm just copy pasting those accounts where I need the data. Now I need levels. I would say this is my store. I would use this particular store, which is store under 7, to load the data. I want another level actually. In 6 meg. I'm going to load data for 2 levels for this 2 accounts. I need a product name. Now I need dimensions. Product name. What are the product names? Let's copy product A. I will copy both the name and the code in the template. This is the name. Let's change this. I want this data for a different product. Let me just cross-check once if the syntax is same. I mean the code. Now what I need? This dimension, which is sales representative. Here I will go in sales. I just say Alex. The first data is for this. Second data is for, I'll say Julie. This is done. Jan, Feb, and I need March. I need some data here. I'm done with the data import. I'm just going to load it that we have any sample data at least. In this sheet. Again, this is the way to import data. Test the sheet. Now it is going to ask me for the dimension mapping, account mapping, and level mapping. Dimensions. First it is mapped. Whatever there was in our Excel template. Now we have to map the accounts which are not mapped. You can just say purchase price, map it with this purchase price here. It's done. Continue. Again levels. I need to map the levels also. Come here store. I think I have not selected store 107 here. Just give me a moment. Here in the levels, I need to see for the levels and start. I don't think I will. This see this because for this sheet, the problem was you did not give access to all the levels. You had given the access for this sheet only for entrance 6. Always make sure that the access is given to all the levels when you are building a level assigned sheet at least. Now we will have to do this again because now we just made the changes to the sheet. You'll have to cancel this basically because now a refresh will not work. Now let's say I'm going to do the process again. Test. Choose Filer downloads this. Import yes. Dimension mapping correct, then account mapping. You'll have to do this manually. Purchase price accept now. Continue. Now it is mapped. And 6. Import the cube data. It's done. Now I'm just going to close this cube sheet. I have some data here. Refresh. Let's see if it is popping up in the months of Jan and Feb and March. We have data flowing now in the 3 months. Now I'm going to build a report for this. 3 accounts and we will categorize them by the filters product, color product. Sorry that we get the data by color in the reports. But before that I need to understand if the color has been mapped to product. Otherwise if there is no linkages done already in the system, you will not get that data. Let's see how do you see that. You go to dimensions first, whether they are mapped to any colors or not. Let's see the color. It should be attached to product name basically. Let's see product at dimension attributes. It is there. Pink is this color for B. We are using black color. For C we have gray color. That is there. Same goes with our sales representative. Do we have the gender attached to it? We don't have the gender. What I will do? I will create a gender attribute for your sales representative. For sales representative, I want to create an attribute. Here I will. Gender. Now we have already gender sales rep. Inside this man mail. Another one I want. Now I've created the attribute, but the linkages is not established. For linking, I will go in the dimensions in the sales representative to link the gender to that. Sales representative is not established. Sales representative is here. Alex, now you can see it's reflecting here. Only attributes were created for sales representative will reflect here and not the other. Same goes with this male, same goes with Julie female. Now we have the data in the system to do the analysis by gender and to do the analysis by color. Let's try to build one report. I will go here. This is the way. Go to reports. I think we created a folder practice. Inside we have this report. Now we are going to create another report. I would say metrics add new. Then I will give the rows. Here I want number of product purchase and the purchase price per quantity, but I want only by colors. I want it by color only. Where is this? Here is the account. First I need to drag and drop the accounts. This is a cube sheet. It will reflect in the cube account. Similarly, you can add GL accounts, custom accounts, metric accounts, model cube, and the another feature functionality is that we can add irrespective of all the accounts. Basically, here we can add any account from cube sheet, any account from this sheet. You can see different data from different models, but in the same report. You know there could be certain requirements of such kind of reports that I need this particular account from product revenue sheet. Give this here. I need 2 accounts from sales driver sheet. Give this here. In the same in one report in one view. Basically, you can see different kind of things together. This is another added a plus point of creating a report for the analysis purpose. At the moment, we are creating one for our standard cube sheet, which we have created. I will just drag and drop the 2 accounts that I require. Now I am just going to drag and drop. The 2 drag and drop accounts are done. Always above accounts, we place the levels. This is, by default, the standard thing which we do it because it gives you the collapse and merge option, collapse and expand option for the levels basically. Now I want the times veneer only for 3 months. I require it. You can select multiple things and drag and drop at once. I just pressed down Control and I'm just going to drag and drop here, and this is how it got. Jan, Feb, March. Basically, if you want to add a lot of months or a lot of accounts, you just use the control and just drag and drop, and in one click it is completed. The accounts. We have the time, but we don't have the version. By default, this 4 functionality is mandatory to get any kind of data intersection. Even if one is missing, you don't get anything. Test version. I will just drag and drop ahead of this. I will just save this and just show you what is happening. A practice report. practice report shared, and I will keep it in the practice folder, practice report, that you can also view it. I will just click on this now, and I want to run this report to see what is the output. I don't know if it's running. Now you can see that we have pulled out the accounts here. There are 2 accounts in this report. We are getting the January data and the month-wise data for like here for this particular version, and then the levels is on this side. Same goes with this. If you expand it and you get the lowest level of information. Now you can see New York has some data, Philadelphia has some data, and then total USA rollup is nothing but the addition of the levels which are inside the USA store, USA country. Same goes with the stores if we have several stores here. You get the bifurcation by store in the New York. If you notice, by default this functionality gives you a top level data. Suppose if you want the data by default should come, like it should come for all the levels in the whenever this report is open, it should not look like this. It should look for all the levels. It should be in the expanded format. How do you do that? You simply go on edit and then you simply click on this operations which you drag and drop the levels here. You right click on it. You click on manage hierarchy. You can see this. 3 options are there. You get the options here what you need to select. If you do this always expanded in the report directly, by default all the levels will be displayed. I'll just click on apply. I will click on save and then I will click on the run button. And now you can see what is the changes in the view. You can see. It's by default all the levels expanded in the report. Now the users don't have to go one by one and do like this. Initially by default, it was this view, but now by default it will be having this view because you have already figured that out in backend that for all the users you will give this particular initial view. Initial view is always expanded and all the levels should be visible to the users and the data. Again, the question is if I have given this access to this report, practice report 2, and I have only access of store 106 and not for store 107. Again, in this report, I will not be able to see the data for 107. That is there. The data is not going to be shared across the levels if you don't have the access in the first go. It depends if you have a level access only to 2-3 stores. Only 2-3 stores will be reflecting in the report. It's not like you cannot see in the report. Whatever levels are visible in the sheet, the same thing is applicable in the reports. If you get a question of security in terms of report, then this is the answer basically. Even the security aspect is covered here in the reports. This is one feature of expand all and the initial view of collapsing. Now we know that this is the data, but I want this information by color. There are two options that you can do. Now, what I can do is number of products purchased. I can just simply click on and use this drill into functionality, and I can just use by color product. If I click on color product, you will see the bifurcation of 900 by colors in the report itself. At the report is the bifurcation of 900. At the moment, you don't see an uncategorized value created here, because you have already captured the data here by color and by the gender. Also, if you are capturing that level of information in the sheet, it becomes very easier for the report to call it out correct. If you don't capture that information, that level of information, the report will not understand where to put it. That's why in our previous reports, an uncategorized thing was popping up. If I just open this and just do by color product, here you can see color product uncategorized is coming. That means 35,000 is going in this uncategorized dimension because in that sheet you did not capture that level of information. But here in this report you can see the bifurcation by color. That pink data is this much and black data is this much because you had did the data entry and you had captured that level of information and you did the tagging. Also, you have established the 1:1 relationship in the backend. And that's why you are getting this kind of analysis in the system. Now go back and just try to see if you are able to see the data by employee or by sales representative. You have to click on this. And now I want to have the data by my sales representative, which is here. I click on sales representative and then you understand that. What is the sales representative contributing to this particular sheet? Alex has done this much, Julie has done this much. You get that analysis because you have captured that level of information in this sheet. Also correct, you have captured product. You have captured this sales representative. You have captured the color also. Same goes again. Go back and do the analysis by the gender. Do we have the gender here? This is the gender which we use. Click on gender, say sales rep, and you will see that male people have the contribution is this much and female is contribution is this much. Such kind of things are always managed by dimensions and attributes and only when it is having that particular information captured in the sheet, and that becomes very easier for the end user to run any kind of analysis. How much male people are there? How much male people are contributing? All this level of information is very, very valuable for any organization. It is based only for reporting and analysis purposes. At the moment in this sheet, you are not able to do any clarity of analysis because everything is going in uncategorized. This is not a good reporting skill. Now, why this is not a good reporting skill? Because you did not capture it, the information. This is not a good reporting skill as well. You cannot do any analysis on this sheet. That is the meaning of that, because there are no dimensions, there are no attributes. Yes, you can do analysis on levels and accounts, but that is very limited. Mostly reports are built only for such kind of analysis where you get by dimensions and by attributes. This is one way of doing analysis by using the drill into functionality. This is very important, and this is one of the interview questions, that what happens when you use a drill into functionality in a report. It is asked in the examinations also, and it is asked in the interview also. What exactly happens? It basically gives the bifurcation of the data of all the accounts that are reflecting in that report. You can bifurcate this data by dimensions. You can bifurcate this data by levels. You can bifurcate this data by attributes also. This is the answer to this particular question, and this gives an additional information to the end user to do any kind of analysis based on whatever he wants to do. By color he can do, by gender he can do. This is the one way of doing analysis using the drill into functionality. Now what? If you want the information automatically reflecting in this report, you can do certain changes to the report that you have that information captured. How you can do that? You can just add the color filter or the gender filter directly in the model builder. Also click on edit. In that case, you click on edit and just go in dimension attributes, and suppose you want this particular thing, information captured for male and female. What I would do? I will just drag and drop gender and keep above the two accounts which I've selected. All the two accounts will now give me this particular view. I will click on save. The initial view was only the accounts reflecting. But now just see the output. What happens? The output will change. I will just collapse this. I need to do one more thing again. I will have to do a right click, manage hierarchy, and always expand it because I need the information of male and female. At the moment is giving me at the top level only. I've just saved this and now I'm running it again. Now you can see we have the accounts. Now we have another column added here and another column level. Level has been expanded. Now gender is also expanded. In the initial view itself, you get which store, you get which gender, and you get the data. This is the way of doing analysis by not using the drill into functionality. In the report itself, you added this particular attribute. You can add dimension also. You can add an attribute also. Now let's try adding a dimension to see what happens. You can add anything, any possible thing, in a report builder. Now I'm trying to add a dimension. I'm going to add a dimension. I'm going to add a dimension. I'm going to add a dimension. I think it's sales representative. Yes, sales representative. I'm going to add this here, right click, manage hierarchy, always expanded. Apply. I will click on save where you click on. It's just like a practice thing. You just need to understand how a report is built and what does the fun standard is, because there is not much to learn with respect to, reports. It's basically you have done the 90% of implementation. Now, this is just the remaining things, and there are a lot of reports to be built. You can build a lot of reports in like a quick drag and drop thing. You just need to understand what needs to reflect on the columns, on the rows, and then you can build it. Now you can notice that another column has got added here, sales representative, and you get the data here by sales representative, by gender, and by store in the same sheet. You can do any combinations whenever you try. Whenever you try creating any kind of a report, I think we can move ahead. Let's try to understand what are the other functionalities of a matrix report. This is the way of creating a normal report. Basically, now there are certain additional things which you can do in a report. First, let's try to understand what is the design elements that are coming here. You can see one segment is there, and suppose you want another segment. This is the first option. You can just add it here, and then you can add several other accounts in this. For example, I am going to add a few more accounts, and this is the thing. I will add total purchase price here as a separate thing. I will save it. The error was, if you are having a separate segment, you need to mention the levels also. I will just drag and drop here and save it. Save and run. Now you can see you have added a new feature which is called as a segment, and now you will see how it is looking. At the moment, if I do a rolls up thing, I think the sheet is blank. It's blank by default, it does not. The reports will not show. If the values are 0, it needs to be computing. I need to change the formula first. Formula will go in the cube sheet. Cube practice. Yes, then cube accounts. I think this is a calculated account and I mentioned the formula is 0. I think I need to change this formula that it has some values. What is the formula? It is simply multiplication. I've done this. I will just refresh the sheet first to see if the data is coming here. Now, the data is coming. Let's go to the report. Let's just refresh. We have a refresh button here also. In the bottom, you can see now it is coming. Total purchase price 52500. This is a separate segment that you have just added. This was one segment. And now this is another segment that you have added. You can have several segments in the similar kind of a report. We can also cover when we do tomorrow, like what is the correct approach of using. You know the right one segment, wise thing. At the moment you are just understanding all kind of functionalities. Let's try to learn another one. Accounts, time level versions, and then dimensions and all kind of attributes. You understood how you can add it. It's just a drag and drop. Similarly, account attributes also. You can drag and drop. If you want this type of expense that we created, we can drag and drop. Similarly, level attributes. If you want to drag and drop by continents, you can do that. Same goes with your dimension attributes, just like we added this particular gender and color. All these things, we can just simply use the drag and drop functionality. This is also a separate segment of drag and drop. Now you can see this is another segment called blank space. You can just use it for, this is only for making the display much better. Basically. Once you add the segment here, which is called as the space, and now it is asking me to select a dimension and attribute. I will just select sales representative. Now click on save. What happens when you run the report? Delete and delete. I'm just deleting and doing it again. Let's say I'm doing. Load account experience representative. I'm just deleting this. This is just nothing. But do you get a space, basically a formatting kind of thing. Now let's try to see what is the other thing. Custom header. It's asking me for this. Let me just delete this one. System header you cannot add. No, I can. We will see how What is the exact usage of this? Because at the moment I'm getting some error. Now let's try to understand what are the other features. You can add currencies also. Suppose in this particular report, you want the information in the local currency level because by default, the information is going to reflect in the US dollars as the parent thing. If you want the data to be captured for Indian employees for into in, this is where you can have the control. We were seeing if the possibility is there in the system where you can add the currencies in the first report itself, because by default in adaptive it is taking us dollars as the by default currency. Suppose if this particular thing is built for Indian employees, you can have the data loaded in the Indian currencies itself. It will not be converting the values automatically with the exchange rate. You will get the values in a format. Same goes with your Canada. Same goes with your Simbit. That level should be having this currency tagged in the level structure. If it is tagged as dollars, then you cannot do anything. You should make sure that if the currencies are correctly mapped, if they are not using the by default as dollars currency as the reporting. Now same as we go with your display as function, where you have 3 options where you can add a value. You can create a custom or you can create a percentage. Let's just say that you are adding some value here. Adding value. Just click on save and let's run. What happens with this? We just got one tab here. It does not really make any sense if I delete. I'm deleting the time span. I'm just saving this. It's basically summing up the entire data and it is giving up us the value. Similarly, if we explore the other options, percentage of account, you can just right click and see what is you get to the by default thing and there is certain element properties. We will do this also as percentage of this. We can change the account settings, cube and your total product purchase price and just save it. It's going to give you a certain percentage of our total purchase price. At the moment, it's coming as 0. Then display, as we have a custom thing also, and this is nothing but a formula assistant thing, and where you can write any kind of formulas here. Suppose I'm just going to delete this thing. I'm going to select my formula from here, and let's say I'm going to do this into, it's got added this, and you are using a custom column where you can get the privilege of writing the formulas in the report also. Usually this formula assistant is only popping up in any accounts that you build in Adaptive, but this particular report will also give you the same functionality of adding a formula to your columns. If you have two columns here and the values are reflecting here, you can make a custom calculated account for adding those two values. This is the purpose of this display. As a function facilities, you can have several columns here and you can just then create a new column and just do this. For example, I will maybe let's see the output first, how it is looking. If you scroll, you get the custom. You are getting the multiplication of the accounts which you have added. For example, what I'll do, I will just go here and delete this. Deleting is simple. You just click on the element that you added and click on this delete. Suppose I'm going to add again the times in the columns. Oh, you think it's 2023? Yes, display as customer. It's not clickable in the time parameter. Formula assistant, can you write the formula on the time? I'm just trying to see, and this is this. If I go and write this formula here 1 second, I'll have to delete this. Oh, then this just click here, save it, run it, and once you practice, you will also understand the additional functionalities of this. Basically, at the moment it is not working correctly. As in, when you start using the tool, you will understand. This particular element is required in this axis. At the moment, the current of thing that we are trying is not working as per our thing. Let's try to explore other options, and we have this calculations also. It's basically the subtotal, and then we have this as subtotal, and we have this subtotal here, and I'll just save this, and it will automatically add the values here. Majorly, this particular functionality is used in report, and we rarely use the display as functionality because this gives the funds the possibility to do the addition or subtraction or any formula for the values which are reflecting by time. If you have to write any formulas by time, this is the functionality that we can use. Subtotal is one of them. The second is the difference. You just drag and drop, and then you can write what is the difference between March and February. You can change the values also in the property section. You can display this as a percentage and whatever it is. And difference option. You can choose the difference between what and what. Here the difference is between March and Feb. If you want the difference between March and January, you can do that also. You can simply select the month, which is your January, and click on apply and then save it. Now, in the same thing, you will see in the report, you have the subtotal also and the difference thing also. And now, as you see in the report, it's not coming anything because there is no difference between March and Jan. It is 0. The column is reflecting, but it will be 0. Yes, but if you see this particular screen, The name of this column is huge. You want to change the name. How do you change the column name? Just click on Edit, click on Right, click on it, go to Properties, and this is the label. You just write difference and click on Apply and then save it. Now, if you run it again, the report will change and the names, whichever you want to, whichever you have changed, it will reflect. As is, like this, you can do renaming. You can utilize the subtotal and the difference calculation thing. If again you want to write a formula based on time, you use this. Mostly this is not used. This is used because ideally all the reports are by time. That's why we use this particular custom. Let's say I'm going to write a formula here, custom calculation, right? How to write the formula? Basically right click on it and then formula system. Suppose I'm going to write a formula that I'm going to do March month divided by I'm going to use the division function mathematical div. I will add it here. My numerator is March and my denominator is this. I'm going to do March upon January. I should get certain computation depending on the value which is flowing in March and in January. This will mean this will be giving the output for my column. If you notice, there is another syntax that is coming in the screen. You are familiar with act, which is a count dot. You are familiar with row dot, which comes in the model sheet. But in reports, whenever you are writing for a formula, there is a up at dot syntax which is coming. Basically, this up is nothing, but you are writing a formula in the report. Pete, if you see up something, that means it is A. It is built inside the report and it is addressing an element inside that report. That's why in the looking at this formula, you will see that it is not addressing an account, it is not addressing a row, it is addressing element from the report itself. Which element? It is the time element, the value which is flowing in March and the value which is flowing in January. Remaining thing is same. I'm just clicking on and I will just rename this again. How to rename? Right click and I will just say division. This is the name of this. I will save it and then run it. I know this particular session was very technical, but yes, we are understanding how to build reports because this is a one type of activity that every implementation happens. It's if you don't understand all the things, because this particular section is only practice, practice, practice. Once you get hands-on on the modeling part, then only you jump on this thing. If it's normal, because you understand it when you are trying to build a lot of things in adaptive. You can see the division column is reflecting, and this is nothing but your March value by Jan. 400 by 400 is giving 1. This is another feature in adaptive where you can use the subtotal difference and writing the formulas for your time elements, whichever is reflecting here. For that you use this particular element, which is called as your calculations. With this, you have completed. What are the all types of elements here? Now, if whenever you click on this report, let's say whenever you click on this report, I am just going to open it. Where it is practice, I click on practice report. The moment I click on practice report, it shows me the output page. It shows me the output page, right? But let's say if you want a pop, up should come up before this output. Before this step, one pop up should come that the users are given the feasibility to enter some certain kind of things. It's like a checkbox thing. It's like a drop-down thing. Basically, you can select which level you want the data. You can select which employee you want the data. You know, if you're giving that kind of information text selector thing to them, how to do that. Basically, This is the thing where the parameters options come into picture. For example, what I will do, I want the report. I want the report in such a way that when I click on the report, it should ask me which level I need to select this particular report. What I will do, I have added the levels here. I will just drag and I will just select the operations level from here and drag and drop to parameters. This is added to a parameter. Now this is a section called parameter. Now, if you right click on it and go on properties, you will see that there is an option called as this checkbox, prompt before viewing. Whenever you're trying to view before view, you are giving the user a prompt, a pop-up that you need to select which level you want to run this data. I am just going to select everything and click on apply. I will just save this. Now let's see. If you go back and again open this sheet from the shared folder, what happens? Now we are in the shared folder practice report. You will see one pop-up coming up. Select parameters to run the run. Select parameters and run to view the report. You did not get the output automatically. There is one pop-up that is coming that you need to select one level at least. Suppose here I give the selection to them that I want the data for my user level. I have selected user and I click on run. Once you give that text selector or that particular prompt, whichever it was asked, it then gives you the desired output. Now you have the output by user level. Again, if you want to change the level, it is giving you an option here in the screen itself to change the level. If you want to see for URC, you can do that. At the moment, you can see URC data. We have certain data for URC also. If you want to change the data again, you can change it to level India and you will see run report. You have the run report option, and now you can see you are getting the data, for you are getting an error, and the error is saying that you have suppressed rows, columns with all zeros or blanks. That means in India there is no data. This is the way you can utilize the parameters function where you can add it a prompt, you can give it as a prompt, and it gives the additional filters in the section for you to select the level. This is one feature, and now the filters is another feature where you can just add a filter. I'm not able to add this. See, no second. See, the representative cannot add. I'm going to add a product name filter to it. I'm just going to save it because I have all the other dimensions or attributes I've added somewhere in the report. I'm going to select user and run the report. This is the prompt that I'm getting, and I am going to see we have this. I need to edit, and I go into filters properties. That's product name, apply, save. Sorry, this one. division, number of products. Purchase. If I do it by product name, I'm getting it here. Then I go back forms, I'm adding it in this apply, and now I am going to run it. It's there. Now you can see. You can filter the sheet by product name also. This is what I wanted to do, and I will select by product in the same sheet and then run report. Only for producta, the reports will be run automatically. Similarly, if you have any data in product C, you can run the report. If there is no data, then it will show this kind of error. This is all kind of functionalities that you can use and add and make it visually appealing. Also, we have this conditional formatting and the numbers and the styling part. We will understand what are the report properties that you can do in all the reports. We have seen how we can build a normal report, basic report, and we have understood the functionalities of it. These are the elements which we have to create it manually first before adding it to the report, and then it's just a drag and drop, creating the view just like it is required in the system. At the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm just deleting this and deleting sales representative and just save it. Only these two accounts should reflect, and then run it that my number of levels, that my number of columns in the report has changed. I think I need to change the level. Need to change user, we have data right. Edit, I'm not getting the filter for product because it is selected as a product name C and there is no data on the C. That's why it is showing this error. Show all parameters. We have this option and I can select product now and then run report. Now this is the output, desired output, which we have deleted certain columns which are not required. I have this data right. You have seen the drill into one standard T. Also that how you can drill into by same you can understand, by color you can see color. You will see a certain data coming up here, and this is the lowest level data because now it's not bold. This means that this is the lowest level data. You click on right click and just go to back. Oh, I need to run it again. Show all parameters. Product or run report. Now, what are the other features that appear at the report? Basically, this is the report format, and you can see there are certain functionalities that are there. One is the simplest thing. You just download as an Excel, or you can download as a PDF also. If you just download this as an Excel, exact format is downloaded in the Excel format. Basically, if users are very familiar using an Excel file itself, and they want certain kind of analysis directly in an Excel file, just like they do it in the pivot using the pivot function, they will get the output in the Excel file also. Same goes with the PDF. You can just download it as a PDF and directly. The output can be in the PDF format. This is nothing but your refresh button. Whatever changes you do and you run the report, or you either do the refreshing. Search is similar to search. If you have several levels, several accounts here, you can just use the search function. Share is nothing, but this report should be shared with which user. This is a share functionality where you can have this particular report shared with certain users. This is nothing but save. If you have done certain changes to this in the report, you can save it again or save as a new report. You can make certain changes. You can keep the existing report as practice report 2 and create a new report as practice report 3 by doing certain changes. If you don't have to build the report from scratch again, it will automatically make all the copies that is existing in the third report. You just do a final change that you add another column in the third report. You don't have to build the report from scratch again. You can utilize this save as function to just clone the report. It's basically reducing your time spent on this. This is a feature of creating a snapshot. Every month and certain reports, they demand a snapshot to be created, a snapshot to be clicked and sent across to the user. You can just click on the snapshot, and then this snapshot can be shared with a lot of users. And it can be shared in folders also, and in the format that you want. It can be in a PDF format, it can be an Excel, or it can be a normal report format also. That is a good feature, and it is heavily used in organizations where every month and you require a snapshot of certain kind of information. January, this was the snapshot. February, this was the SnapNote snapshot. Everything you can collate and save it in certain folders that later on you can just view those particular folders and those data. That what was the exact snapshot captured and what was the exact data by month. This is a good functionality, and it is very, very oftenly used in organizations. This is another functionality. Show information is nothing but this. Report information where it is placed, what is the by default currency, and what are the access or data for the access rules, if any. It's basically giving the information of the report, and this is nothing but your notes. It is just like an additional note that can be added. If we build a valuable report to the end users and we want to give them a note, that for using this report, you need to select the levels, you need to select the accounts. You can have the note reflecting here that they can read the steps and follow it. Here there will be no confusion for the end users to operate. This is just for implementers to make our life easy for the end users, This is again a feature which all the implementers use, that it is adding some value to the end users. You can add a note and it adds a value to them. This is about the functionalities that are there in the front end of the reports, the initial part, the model building part of reports. We have seen what are the functionalities on the left, and this is our all high things, that how do you build a report in a good manner, and what are the additional functionalities that you can use. But today we focused on simple thing on how to build a report and how you just do the drag and drop thing. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.